corner behind me. There you go.
Yes, people.
Hanukkah, elves on a shelf, everything.
Oh, wait, Elf in Hanukkah? Elf on a
I got
Hell?
everything. We got, well, we're multi-religious home, so I got everything covered there for my kid.
It's like Pokemon. You gotta get them
Yeah.
all.
Someone's got to be right. So, just get them all, cover all the bases.
Nice. Well, if you don't know, people, I'm joined by Russell Steinberg, who is the star of Laguna Avenue. Thank you very much, Russell. I
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you for having me, Kevin.
it. Oh man, Russell, Laguna Avenue is a crazy ass film,
It really is.
but you don't it, like the way it opens because well, it opens with the dumbest robbery I've ever seen. Balaclava, yes,
Yeah.
no gloves,
Uh,
Russell.
you should have. We needed you on set. This was
and
a micro
also
budget Gonzo. Some things at times like that, things might have gotten overlooked. The finer details. I'm sure you could pick. There's probably many moments you could pick apart like that one.
hey,
I
but
should have had the gloves.
it didn't really matter because
No,
you left a deposit which I
of
think
DNA.
track your DNA through.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I only stole one hard drive and a coffee mug, so I mean, I don't think they could. They're not going to dispatch the whatever what's that from Criminal Minds? What's the special unit where they do all the? They're not going to send
Oh,
they're not going to get the heavy
CSI.
artillery out on that crime. CSI, yeah.
Well, I've just started to rewatch Person of Interest, so maybe Finch would send John after you.
Yeah. They could have poked around in the poo and see what I ate, track it back to the restaurant.
Oh man. But yeah, we opened with that. Then we jumped the week before.
Mm.
But it feels like it's just kind of a slice of life film. A guy looking for work, down on his luck, or no,
Mm.
kind of feel you made some of that luck for yourself, Russ. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I kind of
Yeah.
feel Rita had grounds for being a bit upset.
I'm just surprised she stayed around. Stays around as long as she does.
Yeah.
But obviously there was something. There was something at some point about him that kept her around. But yeah, was not at his best at the moment we meet him.
But yeah, then all of a sudden the film just it goes out there.
Takes a
It
sharp
really,
sharp left.
yeah, because we meet Gary, and when we first meet Gary, he seems very aloof, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very aloof, a little odd, shiny suits, which always a bit suspect. But but then oh shit! When the visit gets paid, then
Mm-hmm.
everything just goes.
Yeah.
It's like 0 to 100, 0 to 100 in a second. It was just insane, and you're just gripped. You're gripped because you want to know where the hell this is going.
Yeah.
You
Which for
know?
me, that what you're describing right now is like what was most exciting for me. I think about doing this movie. When I first read the script and also what I thought I could bring to it too. Because it was it's so wild and out there, and I related to the character, and I just felt like if I came in and like, especially in that, like you're saying, a slice of life, if I just came in and try to like not be another wild part of the movie and not be out, just be this kind of really grounded character and guy who you could relate to and seems real, and then I have to really hop onto the journey, and then so I think that could bring people with him on the journey,
Yeah.
because the movie it's so mental, so I just felt like I'm gonna try to play this as real and not big, like just I'm gonna play it like to the best and see, and then really buy into everything, and that was so much fun as an actor of this movie.
Yeah, that really works because I think if you were crazy from the start, it wouldn't have been so impactful when it just flips out. So
Yeah,
you have to buy that you're just this humdrum guy who just seems a bit, you know,
beat
just
down.
dejected.
Yeah,
It just felt dejected,
yeah,
and it's just like, can't you see I'm going through something? That's your
yeah, yeah,
go-to, Russell.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what the
It's like,
hell?
what you say? You need to get in shape after we have sex. You need to get in shape. I just lost my job. Can't I focus on one thing at a time?
Take the trash out.
Oh my god! It's funny when you live in LA. I think Mark Maron like did a routine about this. I remember years of seeing his stand up. Like when you live in LA and you're kind of like, you know, like a loser. Like when you get your trash into the garbage and you put it out on the curb, and the garbage man comes and picks it up and he takes it away. It's like, yeah, see, we did this together. This is a beautiful thing that happened here. We made something happen. Yeah, I can't even do that properly. The
No,
garbage.
you
You
just
know.
need to struggle with that.
Um,
Like when you read the script, like how much of the film can you tell from the script? You know what I mean? Did it seem as crazy from the first read through? Like, did it instantly grab you, or was it a conversation with David that kind of really sold you on doing this?
well, I know Paul uh, Papadakis is with longtime partner of Ali Barone, and they're the team that produced this. And Ali Barone and I have known each other. We waited tables together in our 20s. And Paul, he started me for the script and he sent it to me. And really, it was like one of those scripts you have to read twice.
Right.
Like what the hell is going on here? And then it did take me a couple of times, and then I was like, I I I get it. I mean, I don't actually get it because like his mind works a lot different than mine. Like I don't understand like a lot of the overtones and things that he's talking about in the movie and like everything that's going on with technology. But I just the story, I got I got the story, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's insane. But I just saw it. I did see it, and going back to what we were talking about before, like with the way we played it, I have the hats off to Dave Buchanan, your countryman, who he really also like. He mapped out the scenes, like, and when like, so we could really discuss like where I was on the journey. When we shot this, he's like, okay, so this is after. It's almost like after the quickening, after the awakening. So in this scene, you have that energy and that, and also on the first phone call with David too, I knew that we sort of had a similar sense of humor and sensibility. Maybe it was because I went to, Middlesex Poly and had some, appreciated the English humor and we got together on a level. So a lot of things, and in general, a lot of things on this film really fell into place because uh, uh, most people who worked on it worked for free. Uh, it was a real labor of love for everybody. And, there's a few things you have to pay for, but I don't know. I don't think anyone's made a film for this little money probably since the 90s. That was like a feature that actually felt like something and looked like something like the way this one does. So it was really, it was a lot of fun.
Because I have to say, yeah, because that's the thing, right? Because you can tell it's an indie film, but the effects, I was like, how the fuck are they
Yeah.
doing that with the
Yeah.
microwave and the can and we're like that? Yeah, I see no strings, like you know what I mean?
Yeah. They
It
got
looks
some
great.
favors from people at, different effects houses, and after, that's what I'm saying. It was a real like things just happened. Things came together for this movie. Even that like the little with the finger with the sparks
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. And then there was a couple really low like with a spoon flying into his hand. That was just like a a very lo-fi, sort of trick. I'm giving away the
Yeah.
secrets, but like, some of it. So some of it was, and a lot, and we had this girl Sarah who worked on the film, who just has a love of this genre, and like she had her friend like 3D print the claw, and she made like that. When they cut into the finger,
Yeah.
she made that hand with the blood inside of it, and that looked real. Right?
Damn.
And then when they stuck the chip in there, she did all that, and just because she loves this stuff, and like a lot of these people met at like a who worked on the film. It was like they were online for some David Lynch like film thing, and like that's where they originally and like chapel and people just wanted to be involved in filmmaking. Were PAs on the film who hadn't really done anything. So it was exciting. It was a real fun set.
Well, I mean, I think it's a good calling card going forward because
Yeah,
I can't believe that ham was 3D printed. It
isn't that
blows
mental?
my mind. Like, because I don't know, when you hear 3D printing, I still think 2D, right? I
Yeah,
just think, yeah, 3D, like a paper form or something. But I can't, when you see an object and you're like, oh yeah, that was 3D, and you're like, but how? Like, how
I
does
mean
that
that was like
work?
moving parts too. Like
Yeah,
like with and we had
it's
cords
so
inside of it to
elaborate.
pull it. Yeah,
Crazy, crazy.
yeah.
Like, was it heavy? Were those hands heavy
It
to wipe?
was. I mean, probably not as heavy as it would have been if it wasn't 3D printed, honestly, because it was made out of a plastic material and was like a giant Lego. But it was definitely heavy, and I would wear a glove underneath it because it would rub up my. And then in the other scenes, I had just like I had when I had the prosthetic, I would just like kind of hold my hand, in like that position the whole time inside of a glove. I thought that did pretty. It looked pretty good. The black glove prosthetic.
Oh yeah, no, that
Yeah,
yeah. That's the thing. The effects look really good.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look cheap. Right? Like
it
when you go
was.
to a lot of indie festival, I know that was like backhanded praise. No, but what I mean is like you can
Mm,
see, you go and see like films made by the people on a low budget, and oftentimes they're fun films, but you could see that okay, yeah, that like the set's made of cardboard or
yeah,
but nothing looked cheap. Everything looked a real high level, and the effects looked really good, and it just looked like for an indie film, it looked really good. It was
yeah,
very impressive the way it all and it keeps you in the film. Because that's the thing. If anything had looked a little fake, a little off, you could be thrown out. But you're
yeah.
in the film all the way through.
Well, that's nice to hear. Yeah, I think Paul cashed in on some, friends and favors. I think like someone who worked at I think maybe Skywalker. I don't know. I actually shouldn't say maybe because maybe they were working on company time or working on our film. So maybe I won't say where and who. But yeah, we definitely cashed in some favors, and it did. For what we financially put into the film, it definitely came back looking great.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. Like, how long did everything take to do? You
Post
know?
was much longer. The film, so I had this was shot 2 years ago, and we just had a child with my girlfriend Sarah, and our daughter Cecilia was 2 months old, and they called me. They called me probably when she was just born, and like, look, we're doing this film. We really want you to be the lead, and I talked to Sarah, and we decided to do it. So I flew out to LA, and we were shooting on weekends, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because people had jobs who were working on the film. So we did in a month, 3, 6, 9. I think we shot for 12 days over a month, spread out on weekends.
Oh,
And so we had 18-hour, 20-hour, like big, days.
yeah,
And a lot of it, we would get the shots. We'd start getting in the beginning of the day. We'd get the shots we wanted, and then the clock would be going. And then we'd just be like going quicker, quicker, running through stuff, run and gun. You know, really like Gonzo filmmaking. And but we pretty much. I mean, we didn't really have to do any pickups. I mean, they did some stuff afterwards where they had people. dressed up like me or whatever. But mostly we got it all, and then but post was almost 2 years,
Right, right.
but because they had like a couple guys in Germany working as editor, and then they brought it back here, and then we had to get the effects and different things. And Paul had a full-time job. Ali runs a atelier where they make clothes. So like everyone had their own things going on. But yeah, so it took. I mean, listen, I've heard of films that take 10 years to finish. I
Mm.
think 2 years is not that bad, especially since there was no money behind it. When I had to do ADR, and I went over to my friend David Lay's house, who was living in Chinatown at the time. We had like mattresses up against the window to cover the street noise, and he had a program, so he could play the film, and we had a pretty good microphone, and I had done a bunch of ADR before, so I was able to nail it. But that was the New York sound studio, Chinatown apartment with mattresses on the window. So yeah, it was pretty
It
fun.
worked though. It all
Yeah.
worked. Like how busy, you've done films, you've done TV, you've done so many jobs in the industry, right? But how was it doing, that the weekends, just doing the weekends over a month, and then having so you finish a scene on a Sunday, then you've got to wait until Friday before you can come back to it.
Oh
So
right.
it's just like having to try and get back into the character, get back into the moment, the scene, the feel. Like, what was that like?
Um, it was actually pretty. I felt almost in character the whole time, and honestly, the character isn't too far from who I am in this movie, besides the insanity world that he lived in. So, and it wasn't that difficult. And also with the film, you're not really shooting in order anyway, so it's like you have to dial in on that day, like whether you're further down the road or the beginning. Like, so it was I think the real challenge was just the hours that when I was in it, those
Yeah.
long days, just by the end of the day. But like I said, the more beat down I got by doing the movie, almost like really, it kind of was a perfect storm of, I'd come home, I had the baby, like everything was just like I was like in a daze for a month. So it all worked out.
Yeah, because by the end the character is kind of in a fever dream, as it
Yeah,
were. So yeah,
yeah.
I guess that works out. I mean, with the rest of the cast, like Rita and all the other people, was there did you have to kind of hang out together to build that chemistry, or was it just a natural kind of fit?
Gary and I definitely built the chemistry, which by the time we started doing, when we shoot the movie, like the first scene I did with Rita was when we were in bed. Like that's like when we met, which I think they do a lot of times in films, just in case the actors end up not getting along at the end. They like will shoot those in the beginning because there's no. But
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, but yeah, Rita and I, that was our first scene, and then the like moshing thing. So we were right into it. But Gary and I definitely built it up along the way, which is why we had some like that scene in the car was much later on, and I feel like we sort of had that like back and forth, and then uh, the scene in the park, which is my favorite when we do the bad boys like back to back with the camera going around. Yeah, so but the like I said before, the vibe on the set was really good. There was not like yes, there was stress for time. There'd be fights about like someone wants to get a shot and it's taking a long time to set up and this and that. We have to move. So that obviously that's going to be, but that tension builds like helps anyway.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like people digging into each other's character or anything. Like, it was just like a tension of time crunch, and so there was just good vibes on the set too. So it was like, and then a lot of times when we were in that at Laguna Ave, and we were like those ensemble scenes. There was a
Hmm.
real chemistry between everyone, and Dan. my the who I do the drugs with. That was pretty
Yeah.
funny. That scene actually is my favorite scene in the movie. I just think it's so funny.
I have to say, those lawn chairs, they didn't look comfy, man. They were so low. I was just like, God damn.
Yeah. I don't know. I think those are that. So we shot at Laguna Ave. That's the house where Dave Buchanan, Paul, this guy Brian, who worked on the film, and they all lived. They actually lived there. And so Paul, I think, dreamed up this script about he started with the characters who lived there, and then went whatever the movie's about. But so that is actually Laguna Ave. So those are probably the lawn chair. I don't know if those are props or those are like the lawn chairs that they actually use at the house now, the people who live there.
Oh man. All right. So what would you say the hardest part of doing this movie was for you?
Um, just uh, it's a good question. I mean, the hardest part, I think, besides the hours and getting 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 it done, fitting it in, coming from New York out to LA and situating and all that and the family. But the hardest part for actor wise, I think, was really kind of getting on the journey with with Gary. Although it was fun. Honestly, that was the funnest part too. Like I don't know. I think that physically it was actually kind of grueling. I had just had an operation on my hip like right before, and like when I was running around through the streets and the hours and being on my feet, it was actually more of like, even though it doesn't look like it, it was actually kind of a grueling, because you were just I was in every single frame of the movie.
Yeah.
So that probably was the hardest part. It was just for everyone else. Like for me, it was like if it was an 18-hour day, it was pretty much I was in every scene of that day. So that I would say was the hardest part. Actually, was a lot of fun. The movie itself.
And is that the sort of music you would mosh to in everyday life?
No, that's Paul. Yeah, that's. I think that I can't remember if that's Paul's band, Brezhnev's Metals. Paul, the writer, is a bit of a Renaissance guy. He holds down a job where he went to, I think he got an MBA, so he like understands how to move in that world, but he's able to do it remotely, and then he'll take time off and do a film. Then he's got a band, and he'll do, him and his band write songs. He was just in Paris. He got commissioned to write this movie about this Greek pop star. So I
Okay.
think that might have been his band, Brezhnev's Metals. I was moshing to. I did have, I used to go to some hardcore shows back in New York in the old days, and so I had some moves. My backpack on. Like now I need a nosh pit if I go to a show. Is there a nosh pit? I'm hungry.
I just say the people that wore backpacks to freaking gigs.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, that was so irritating because
yeah,
when it's so packed and you're getting pushed, and then you
yeah.
put
But a
this
little.
bag in your face, you're just like, dude, take the bag off.
What's in the bag? What's in the bag?
I know. You're just like, you don't need a bag. What are you
No,
doing?
no.
Oh man, like when when it is a crazy set like this and it's long days and everything, how do you relax in between takes? Like, what's the situation? Do you have your iPod? You listen to music? Are you reading or like
Yeah, I mean,
what
I
you
didn't
do?
have time really for much. Uh, I like conversations and laughs, and there was some and those ensemble scenes. There was a lot of. I may or may not have been drinking beer in between takes. But yeah, and then those other scenes was a lot of we were moving from location to location, so I think but the ones when we're at Laguna Ave, it was like I said, everything sort of played into itself. We sort of became those characters sitting around Laguna Ave. When we weren't in the shots, we were like a bunch of people sitting around on lawn chairs and laughing and talking, and so it was really, things fell into place with this movie in that respect.
Okay, okay. I will say I did feel bad for you with the leg on with the hand on the leg situation. But I was like, yeah,
That's
you
funny.
wouldn't have feeling in the hand, obviously. I mean, come on, people. Like, give the guy a little bit of a break.
That was funny. I like that. We shot those scenes. We were using this like a black magic camera, like I think like the 4K. I'm not so techno savvy, but then on those scenes, there's some reason we wanted to try this other camera out, and it was like this thing that hooked onto the iPhone, and then the camera was like a thing on top of the iPhone that sort of tracked focus, and you could like move around, and that we shot like so those scenes that look a little different when
Yeah.
we're when we're coming up to hit, we all like come up together to walk up to Gary. They were shot on this cool iPhone thing, but
Uh,
yeah, that has nothing to do with your question. But yeah, that was funny. I like that whole interaction with her and Jane, like the like the sourpuss woman. Like I was
yeah.
like, I'm gonna tell Rita. There was like a surreal uh, that part with and obviously you're not looking. It's definitely like like ratcheted up reality. It's not you're not like watching that like scene. Oh, this is like how a bunch of people really see when they hang out. It's like a strange world, Laguna
Yeah.
Ave, but a fun one.
Yeah. Right. Was a lot of those conversations, was it all scripted
All
or was
scripted. Yeah, this was all scripted,
okay.
which I like that. I think I mean, it's fun to improv and stuff too, but it's also nice to work with what's given to you and like make the best of it. And that's acting. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was yeah. So that's good that you thought it was conversational, some of it, but a lot of it was scripted. And like some of the people were actors, some people weren't actors. It was all um, but it was all
Uh-huh.
scripted.
Okay. And like, what was the biggest surprise for you? Because, I think reading a script is one thing, but then seeing some of this stuff
Right,
in the flesh, like,
right.
what kind of really, jumped out to you? It was like, oh, damn.
Well, they say that three movies: the one that you write, the one that you shoot, and then the one that gets made. So
Yeah.
I think just seeing the movie finished, and it wasn't put because we weren't able to get all the shots. It wasn't, and maybe things didn't make as much sense like when it was all shot and said and done. So some of it was retooled and reworked. So it doesn't go in this like a scene that I thought was going to go in one spot was in a different spot. I guess the
Right.
biggest surprise to me was how well it came together, and like how enjoyable it was from start to finish, and it really felt like like with a film like that, with like I said, with that budget and everything, to actually have it come out and like you said, be something that pulls you in and you want to watch the whole way through, and it feels like it moves, and it actually kind of it makes sense and it's fun. That was the big surprise for me, how well it came out.
Uh-huh. And what's the reaction been like? Because you've been doing the festival circuit.
Yeah,
Like, what's that been like?
people
Seeing
like it.
people see
People,
it and
it was,
experience it.
I mean, it was fun to see it with live audiences and hear their reaction, and seeing people's comments, on like different what's like Letterbox or Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, there's a lot of people who like this. It's not horror either. So like I think
Yeah.
people who go in thinking because it got into Fright Fest that was going to be like people getting their heads cut off, and then we're like disappointed that it was like a lo-fi sci-fi thriller. you know, genre movie. But there's people like this kind of midnight movie, genre movie, like um, it was almost meant to be. It's almost like a cult classic before it was ever even made. It has that feeling of a movie like you put on at you know at midnight and or like the. But there are people who are really enjoying it, and so it's nice to see that reaction. I mean, look, some people I've seen reviews where they're like kind of trying to pick it apart. I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, we made yeah, it's a movie that was made for maybe $30,000 tops. If you could sit here all day and do that, but like yeah, I think people who get it, and it's like when you go back and watch those, it's like those like slacker movies. Yeah, they weren't like made for the most money, and they're not. If you watch it again, like yeah, it was like maybe some things were a little sloppy at points, but it's like if that's where your mind is going, you're sort of missing the big picture of like
Yes.
what this movie is.
Yeah, it does feel like a film that you watch a little buzzed. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, for sure.
I mean
Yeah,
that would be a lot of fun, where it's some weed, some mushrooms,
yeah.
and you just chill with your people and you just watch this craziness. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I wonder. Yeah, I really hope that's where where it goes, and like it gets like it finds its audience. And it's funny though, because like now everyone is you watch your movie here, so it's like,
Yeah,
and especially now even more after COVID. So like this would have been a great you know a move like a place where you go to the film, go to the theater and watch the midnight film with friends and have drinks. And I guess you'd have to get like small groups together and watch it on your. I don't know. It's funny. I'm just curious where film, where it's all going, not just for our movie, just in general.
yeah. I mean I think people there's a lot. The thing that irritated me at the start of the pandemic was a lot of people was like cinema's dead, cinema's over, and I'm just like no, because
Mm.
going to the cinema is the experience, right? Watching at home is nice, right? It's convenient at times, right? It works. I'm not adverse for films being launched at home because if say you're ill, right? You can't get to the cinema. You're like, damn
Yeah,
it, I wanted to go to opening weekend, but I can't. Or if
yeah,
you've got kids, you can't get a babysitter. There's a lot of reasons why some people can't get to a cinema. But there's a different thing about actually sitting down in the cinema, the lights go down, you know what I mean? The
yeah.
curtains come apart and the film starts. It's just that different thing. You can have a great sound system at home. You have a large
It's not the
TV,
same.
still not the same.
Yeah,
Still
even a
not the
couple
same.
of these festivals was like my first time getting back in the theater and just having that fucking popcorn in my lap and a giant gallon of soda. It was like, I'm back.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a nice
that
feeling.
it just takes you to that place, right? It takes you to that next place when you're sitting in that cinema watching. And I think that's the thing. I think people will go to the cinema. Now, because
Yeah,
the price of films at the cinema has gone up, you are probably a more selective on what you go to see.
yeah,
But when there's a film festival and you can see loads of films, right, that's
yeah.
it works well to introduce you to things that you might not have you know seen, might not have been on your radar, right? We've got a cinema in London, in Leicester Square, called the Prince Charles.
I've been there.
Yes, it's a great little cinema.
Yeah.
And your film, it feels like a film they would show,
I was
right?
gonna say
They
this
have
to
the
we
late
play at the
night
Prince Charles at
screenings.
midnight. Yeah.
Yeah, they have the late night screenings, they have pizza screenings, pizza and beer screen.
They had they had the quote alongs, like the Big Lebowski quote along
Yes,
where everyone the has a Caucasian, the white,
yeah.
the white Russian, and yells all the lines out.
Yeah, so I feel that yeah, the Prince Charles will be showing Laguna Ave. It
I
feels
hope
like
so.
it's a film they would show, and yeah, it would be a fun. They do a fun little screening around it. Maybe give everyone prosthetic hands or,
Mm.
or something. But yeah, no, I think that would work. Um, but yeah,
We're in a festival now that's available in. Is it playing everywhere in the UK? I should. Do you have link? Do you have? Well, can people go to links to watch this? I don't want to go out of this chat because I'm afraid I'll lose.
Oh no, don't worry. Hold on, I
Let's see,
can. I'll get
Paul.
the festival information
It's
because
in
I saved it
it's
in.
in Another Hole in the Head, which is
Yes.
San Francisco based festival, and it's playing everywhere in the UK, and so people can
Yeah.
watch it if they go to Another Hole in the Head and look for Laguna Ave. They'll be
Okay,
able to
so
see it.
that is because that's the thing. I wasn't quite sure if these festivals were geo-locked to the country or not.
I
But
think
another
that
hole in the head is
I believe
geo.
that's not geolocked.
Okay.
It's blocked everywhere in the U.S. but California, but it's available in Europe, and I believe it's available in the UK, and there's another one. I think it's in Grime something.
Oh, so there's the Christmas Horror Nights, which I think
Look
is
at this
in
email from Paul.
association with Grime Fest.
Yes, and that's I think available over there as well.
Okay. Yes, yeah, Christmas Nights is presented by Grime Fest and sponsored by the Horror Channel in the UK.
Yeah,
So there is
there you
that.
go. There's
Yeah,
that
because
one as well.
you've got a busy weekend,
Yeah, I'm
right?
going to Orlando tomorrow because we're in Sick and Wrong festival
Yeah,
down there,
wrong. Yeah.
and so me, Paul, Allie, and I will be at Sick and Wrong. It's playing at Filmocracy in Los Angeles and in um, Another Hole in the Head in San Francisco, and then Grime Fest. It's also as well online. So busy weekend for Laguna Ave.
Yeah. Yeah. So another hole in the head runs from the 1st to the 15th of December.
Yeah,
Christmas Horror Nights is the 10th to the 11th. Sick and Wild is the 10th to the 12th. And Filmocracy Fest is the 9th to the
right.
12th. So
Busy weekend. 4 festivals in one weekend.
yeah,
That's
like
pretty crazy.
yeah, a little
It's a
greedy.
little movie that could do it. Little movie that could.
Oh man, but yo, I respect the fuck out of that. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
putting in that work, man. That's impressive. And are
Thank you.
you doing Q&As at all of these festivals or?
I'm not sure about Sick and Wrong, but I know another. I know there's. I think they're doing one after Filmocracy, and I think we might zoom into it from Orlando if we can. But we did Q&A at Fright Fest, and we did Q&A. We were in Buffalo.
Right, right.
We did a Q&A up in Buffalo. So
Oh, cool. And yeah, like, do you enjoy all of that, like the Q&As after or before films and all
uh,
that kind of
yeah, it
thing?
depends. Like uh, sometimes it's like nobody. You're like, anybody have any questions? And like, but sometimes it's like a real, like
Yeah,
like engaging, and people feel like we're doing it for a reason. Sometimes it just feels like pageantry, I guess.
yeah,
But
yeah. Yeah, I know sometimes I go to those things and like people are asking questions. They're like, they either just answered that or wait, you didn't get that from the film? Like, what are you
yeah,
doing?
yeah. I went to a Q&A of what was that movie? Win Win. It was like a wrestling movie, and Paul Giamatti
Oh,
was the
yeah.
coach, and there was a Q&A, and the director was there, and when there was one scene where Paul Giamatti was plunging the toilet on his knees with like his face right by the bowl, and I was like, "What? Did you direct him to plunge the toilet like that? I mean, because who plunges the toilet with their face right in the bowl? Like you stand
Yeah,
up,
but
you
she
keep your
was
face." He's like, "You
splashback.
know what? That's the way he plunged. That's the way he plunges. He went in there right like that." I'm like, "Well, he plunges like a maniac. Nobody plunges like that." I feel like that's a good question.
No, that's a fun question right? Because it's a little
Yeah.
different, and no one else is asking that question.
That's all I could
Right?
think about the second I saw him plunging like that. What kind of animal plunges like with their face that close to the water?
Yeah, you're a maniac.
uh,
I hear that's how you get COVID. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
you get cholera. E.
Yeah,
coli.
no, I mean, yeah, you have to be, think about the questions you're asking,
Yeah.
right? When you do those sort of things. Um, so yeah, you've done all of these festivals. Like, did you, when the film finished, right? Or even at the start of the film, did you imagine what the reception might be like for it?
Mm-mm. No, I was actually I was pleasantly surprised with how well it came together, and you know, not after I saw it, I thought I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be there's gonna be people who really like this movie. It's definitely hits a tone. And I honestly, with everything that's going on right now, if you really get like sort of like peel back some of the layers of this movie, it really hits a lot of poignant ideas and concepts about artificial intelligence and
Oh, yeah.
society and everything. So not
Well,
totally
yeah, because
surprised.
as we were talking before, Elon Musk is developing that.
Yeah,
It's something loop. I feel,
microchip or whatever.
yeah, which when I remember when I first heard him talk about it on Rogan, and it just seemed you're like,
Yeah,
nah, but then as time goes on, you're like, yeah, kind of makes
yeah,
sense.
it makes sense. I was thinking about that today when I was walking with my daughter. Like, this is just how fast technology changed from when I was young to now. Like, I have this phone now. What the heck is she gonna have? Her like, like a pinky ring that tells her everything. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
nothing. It's gonna be in her brain.
Yeah, well, was it? I think it was Blade Runner
Oh yeah,
2049,
I didn't
and
see that new. Yeah, I don't know why.
it was just like the stuff would just appear kind of in front of you, like that
That's what
augmented
I heard is
reality
that,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
augmented reality.
Yeah, because like we went from rotary phones, I mean, computers that were,
To
the,
Oculus.
the size of a mini mountain,
Yeah,
like a large TV back in the day. It was
yeah.
huge.
I think what's
You
gonna
couldn't
happen is
go
there's glasses
there.
like this will have the augmented reality.
Yes.
If you don't have like, so you'll be wearing just like plain glasses and you'll have augmented reality, your phone calls, your text, your everything. Who knows? That's
Oh,
one.
yeah, no, for
Yeah,
sure. Because Google did the Google Glass back in the
yeah,
day, but you kind of feel it's a little early for it, right? It's
yeah,
kind of like how they had virtual reality in the 80s, but it was just goofy. But
yeah.
now, from all sound, like it's just like everyone's messing with the Oculus Quest
We
and
just
those
got
things.
one here. It's
Yeah.
crazy. I was standing on the peak of Everest the other day.
Oh shit.
Just like, if I mean, really. And look, there was a Sherpa right there telling his story. I'm like, this is insane. It almost feels when you take it off, you're almost just like, you have to like, whoa, people are gonna get
Yeah.
lost. I
How
mean,
long does it take to kind of acclimatize yourself to normalness once you step out of that?
um, the first time I happened to have been microdosing on mushrooms, so it took a little longer. But I think it's uh, it takes a second to like you're like gotta, oh wow, I'm back in reality. I think people are gonna get lost in there,
Oh,
which kind of and that all ties into the film.
yeah. Yeah. Because yeah, I think what Gary does, people will be doing that, but
Yeah,
on a
I mean, this is like a
completely
body hacker. He's like
different.
a low budget body hacker version of what's gonna happen.
Yes. Yeah, they're gonna look at Gary and be like, it's Betamax. You know what I mean?
He's got a Betamax taped to his back, but like basically it's gonna be microchips. Yeah,
Yeah, Gary isn't even MP3. You know what I mean? He's straight
He's
up
wild.
eating that.
Jamie's
And
so fun.
people, yeah, people are gonna be on that next tip. It's
Mm.
just gonna be all. It's gonna look like flesh. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
won't look like a robot or like a
Mm.
cyberpunk, as it were. You know, it's
Yeah.
crazy, but yeah, it does throw up those interesting points. It's like the prosthetics. When you look at what prosthetics have done just in the last decade,
Mm.
it's insane.
It
It's
really is.
crazy. So yeah, Russell won't have his small little weird hand or the huge
Yeah.
hand. It will just be this other thing.
The flesh, like I feel like, it'd be
Yeah, with feeling. He'll actually
that
have
would be
feeling
crazy.
with it. Oh man, but no, man, I was completely shocked and surprised by the film, and
Thank you.
and that's just because, yeah, from how it starts to then where it goes, didn't see that coming at
Yeah.
all. Didn't see it coming, and I was just
Sorry.
very happy. You know what I mean? I was just in it, and even by the end, I was a bit like, oh, maybe Russell ain't that bad. Maybe Russell ain't that bad.
Yeah. He became somewhat likable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he turned it around.
I tried to keep him I tried to keep like a element of likability to the character, but yeah, he's definitely just like, I mean, he's not like bad. He's just
No, yeah. Russell isn't bad, but he's just a guy, and you're just like, come on, man,
come
come
on,
on,
dude.
let's
Yeah.
let's get up, let's do something today. Come on, come
Yeah.
on. You know what I mean? You want David Goggins shouting at him.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man.
Yeah. 100%.
Oh man, hey, I really appreciate your time.
This
Um,
was great. It was great talking to you.
yeah, man. No, yeah, it's just interesting hearing. Because when you see a film like this, you want like, how does this come together? Like, how do they do it? You know what I mean? How do they do those
Yeah.
effects? So it's great having you be able to like clear some of that up, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
It's almost
And
more confusing when you see like a high budget movie and they do something incredible. You don't, you're like, oh, that's cool. But like when you see like a low budget movie and they do something that looks good, you're like, how the fuck did they do that? It's almost like you see a sleight of hand, magician. You want to know how they do it. When it's really good on like a
yeah,
high level, you don't think about it. You're just like, oh, look, the robot just like flew through space and grabbed the astro or whatever. But like, when you see it on a small level like that, you're like, how did those fuckers do that?
well, yeah, because you look at like Marvel,
Yeah,
Star Wars, and that kind of thing. You're like, well, it's a
yeah,
big studio. Of course, they're gonna
yeah,
make it look
yeah,
incredible.
exactly.
But there was a thing early on in the film with Gary, and I think it was with a can, and I was a bit like, did that happen? Did
Oh,
I see
the
that?
the when he the bottle opener.
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
That was my that I came up with how to do that. It
Oh
was a
shit.
very sleight of hand. I don't want to put. I don't know if we should give away our
No,
secrets.
don't reveal it. Don't reveal it. Keep that
Yeah,
one close to the chest,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I saw
That
that in
was
the.
done. That was done in real time. That effect.
Oh
That
damn.
wasn't an after effect.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because we hadn't really seen anything crazy to the point, and so I was a bit like,
yeah, yeah.
did I make that up?
That just
Did that
happened. That was
happen?
just that's what it's supposed to be. Like, wait a second. Now I'm like that too. I'm like, yeah, yeah,
no, it is very enjoyable. And people, if you're around any of those festivals, um, or there's the Christmas one you can access in the UK, yeah, definitely
hmm
check out Laguna Avenue. I think you're going to be very surprised, and you're going to enjoy it. So yeah,
and
thanks
hopefully
again,
we'll be on a streaming service near you very soon, so you don't have to wait till a festival. I think
Russ.
we have something in the pipeline.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Well, thank you,
Well,
Kevin. It's great chatting with you.
yeah. Oh, tell the people how they can keep track of everything you're doing, man.
You can follow me on Instagram at Rusty Knob, or I have a alter ego, Johnny Fava. Keep a lookout for him. We didn't talk about him, but JohnnnyFayva. But I keep my Instagram pretty up to date, so you can see what I'm up to.
Okay, and is there something coming, like anything
I have a
else?
couple things in development that I'm working on. A film that I wrote and a retrospective piece about the Johnny Fava character.
Okay.
And then I auditions and things.
Oh, splendid. Well, Russell, when any of these projects are ready,
I have your email.
Yeah, come back, man. The door is open always for you, man. I've enjoyed this
Thank you very much.
conversation.
Me too.
All right, thank you very
Next
much,
time I'm
man.
over the pond, maybe I'll look you up. We'll go out.
Yeah, no, definitely. I would definitely
Perfect.
treat you to a drink and whatnot, man.
All
Come
right.
do that.
Take
All
care.
right, you take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.